G'day mates, we've got a lot to cover in today's video. We have more details on what is going on with next season, the throwback season. We have confirmed we are going back to chapter 1 season 5, but we are also going through multiple seasons throughout that season. We're also going very OG. We are removing mechanics like sprinting and mantling, and that's raised concerns for what does that mean for no builds. Are we going to have no builds next season? I also want to talk about the new DreamHack tournament that just got announced that has a lot of people really upset, and I'm going to cover why that is, what's going on with the console champions cup, why is it now being split in half for the prize pool, and I want to talk about the new duos. Have Mero and Cooper just split up after winning a $4 million event? Who is Savage's new duo? Did Clicks and Epic Whale split up? There's lots to cover. Let's jump into it. All right, let's catch you guys up to speed on what's going on with the new season, why everyone's talking about OG Fortnite. I'm sure you've probably heard about this. We are going back to Chapter 1, Season 5 at the end of this season, either on November 3rd to November 6th. We're not sure exactly when the new season starts, but it's going to be a 1 month long mini season where we go back in time. We know this from official Epic sources and a whole bunch of leaks and teasers. We are originally going back to Chapter 1, Season 5, but a lot of people don't know, are we going back to like a half old, half new season? Like, will there just be a few old POIs? Is it going to be an entirely OG map? Is it going to be OG Fortnite? Are we going to lose the things like sprinting, mantling, sliding, all those new mechanics? Are we going to go back to old graphics? These are all the questions we've had, and we're starting to finally get answers for them. So firstly, we have Wen Soing, again, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize, going into the files and actually saying that there is going to be no sprinting and mantling next season, showing that the way that it works in the game files is there is no updated version for the new season. So it looks like for the month of the new season, we are going to have no sprinting and mantling. Now, Hypex and other people like myself have kind of taken that a step further and thought, well, how is no builds going to work with no sprinting and mantling? Are we just going to have no builds for an entire month? Also, a lot of people as well pointing out, when I first heard about this, I was like, what is this going to mean for no builds? Even with sprinting and mantling enabled, the OG maps aren't made for no builds. You'll notice the most recent maps have a whole bunch of zip lines, you have all the bounce mushrooms. There needs to be ways to get around the map for players with no builds. A lot of people played Chapter 1 without really building, but you still needed it to get to certain positions. You couldn't get up on mountains where zones end without building. So if we are going to go back to a truly OG map, which it looks like we are, and I'll get to that in a second, I think there's going to have to be no builds, or they're going to have to do something revolutionary. And if they're taking out mantling for the season, like Wen Soing is saying, then pretty much there is no chance we have no builds in next season, which has obviously upset quite a few people. I don't think Epic would do that. They're going to miss out on so much of their player base who now depend on no builds to have fun on this game. And you can weigh in on that however you want. No builds isn't really Fortnite. And then obviously all the people who love no builds, oh, builds are just a bunch of sweats, they just build too much. I get it. I love both. I enjoy both. You can fall on that fence wherever you want, but at the same time, no build players kind of need no builds to enjoy the game, or they just won't play. And especially with a massive amount of returning players or new players coming in to check out OG Fortnite because it's getting so much hype right now, I think they're going to need no builds. So I think Epic's going to have to figure out some kind of way to make no builds work in the new season. I just don't see why they would just turn it off. As for a lot of the other OG stuff, like are we going to get a battle pass? Are we going to get the old graphics? Honestly, we don't know. We just don't really have the answers to that right now. Now, what we do know is we aren't just going back to Chapter 1, Season 5. We're going back to multiple OG seasons, and we know this because a bunch of content creators, myself included, were lucky enough to get some pins. And my lights are going a bit crazy right now, so I'm trying to show you exactly what's on them, but obviously you're getting a theme. It's Chapter 1 themed pins. There's OG, you can see Peely, but if you pay close attention, there is pins about other seasons here. We have the Frozen Knight on there, we have, the Ice King, we have the Cube, we have Season X. It looks like based on what we've all been sent, or a bunch of creators being sent, we are definitely going back to OG Fortnite, but it won't just be Chapter 1 Season 5. And again, leakers are now using this as evidence that we are going to be flying through the seasons quickly. It's a 1 month long season, and they're going to cram a whole bunch of Chapter 1 seasons into that 1 month. So we could have like week-long seasons within that season, or even maybe a few days. It could be absolute chaos and mayhem. And again, I don't know how they're going to be able to go back and fix all of those old maps to make them playable for no builds, but I'm stuck in this weird thing where logic tells me surely we're gonna have no builds, but also how are we gonna have no builds? So either way, I'm super excited for the OG season. It is going to be incredible. If it even lives up to half the expectations we currently get, it's going to be amazing. Again, things like tournaments, are we gonna have a mini FNCS, a winter royale, are we gonna get cash cups? I don't have the answer to those questions. I will try to keep my videos updated whenever there's new stuff that comes out about the OG season. We're only like 2 weeks away now, or even potentially less than 2 weeks. I'll be making a bunch of content on everything we know, but right now we know we are going back to chapter 1 season 5 100%. We are going to get at least a large portion of the map, if not the entire map. The whole point around this season is OG seasons, not just chapter 1 season 5, and it is going to last for 1 month. Basically everything past that is kind of us just speculating right now. One of the things a lot of people are pointing towards saying we are going to have no builds in next season is we just had our next DreamHack LAN event announced. We have Jönköping, Sweden, which is where DreamHack Summer took place when we had the legendary Kamiversetti coming down to a single point, one of the most legendary Fortnite tournaments in my opinion ever. It was such an extremely fun tournament, and we have them running it back, but it's got a lot of people very upset. It is a 0 build solos event with a $10,000 prize pool. Now, when you talk about $10,000 and start complaining, a lot of people get a little bit triggered, saying, you know, Fortnite pros are so spoiled, esports, you know, any money you get is great. I think it's because of what we had last year, well, this year I should say, with Gamers 8. We had almost a $3 million prize pool. Each DreamHack was $250,000, and then the finals was $2 million. So seeing a $10,000 event has people a little bit disappointed. It's obviously meant to cater towards people who are local to Sweden and can travel there easily and cost effectively, because most people are pointing out the first place prize, even if you win it, is probably only just going to cover your travel and potentially renting a PC or taking a PC. Because when you go to these DreamHacks, you need to source your own gear. You don't just show up and play. So if you win the first place prize of $3,750 and you spent, let's say, $1,000 on your flight, if you're not from Europe, maybe you spent, you know, a few $100s on your hotel at least, you're kind of halfway through your earnings already, and then you got to rent a PC or source one. You can see where people are coming from. It's going to not really cater towards anyone outside of Europe who wants to just go and enjoy it and have fun, but that is a big part of what DreamHack is for. DreamHack has become this massive event on the Fortnite schedule because of Gamers 8. But if this tournament isn't a qualifier to one of those events, it's not really insane to see a prize pool like this. But it does mean that a tournament during next season with DreamHack is no builds. And you have to imagine, with having put on almost $3 million worth of tournaments in conjunction with Epic. I mean, Gamers 8 have always said they're not affiliated with Epic. They have no relation with them, but they do. They have some kind of communication with Epic. You can't run a $3 million event and not have any communication with them. Surely if they announced this tournament, Epic would be like, maybe don't make it no builds if it just doesn't exist next season. So again, we'll see how that goes. While we're still on the topic of no builds, we also had the Champions Console Cup announced for this season. This is the 250,000 console FNCS every season. It is taking place this weekend, and in a change of events, Epic has actually made it no builds and builds. But for a lot of people, they're quite upset because they run at the same time. So half the prize pool is now going to no builds, half is going to builds, but you can only play one of them on your region. If you want to play both of them, they have their own region locking. So let's say you're an NA player, you want to play the builds on NA because obviously ping is more dependent with builds. You can then pick another region to play no builds on that doesn't clash with the time. So technically you can play both of them, you can play separate events, but a lot of people are a little bit upset, saying this is basically consoles FNCS. It should still be the main competitive game mode, which is builds. I'm excited to watch it. I'll be doing viewing parties for on my Twitch channel. I love getting behind the console community and showing them love when I can. It's going to be fun to watch. They have now moved the cash cups that are supposed to be on this weekend to be on during the week, so don't get caught out if you're playing on the duo cash cup. They have now moved those earlier in the week, so check out Fortnite Tracker and make sure you're on top of the times. Last but not least, while we're on the topic of competitive, we have to talk about all of the new duos. You've probably been really confused about this, why there's so many duos playing, who is the actual real duos, did Queasy and Veno split, what happened to Savage of a deal, why did Cooper and Mero just split up after winning the biggest event since World Cup? Now I have to preface this, some of these duos are just playing for fun, some of them are real, some of them might be trying out. If we get duos duos is the next competitive game mode. We don't even know if we're going to be playing duos next season competitively, so it's all up in the air. But I will say some of these duos splitting up were very official, and I want to cover them as they are some big teams. So the two biggest ones, in my opinion, on EU would be Queasy and Veno, Savage and Vidil. They have officially split. Now, it looks like we have in the Cash Cup Savage and Pink, but I have been told specifically that Pink is still playing with Vico. Savage actually wants to play with Queasy, but Queasy didn't play with Savage this week. Apparently, they're going to be playing in the Cash Cup in a few days' time. We don't know whether they're going to be an actual official duo, but the official duo we do know is Veno and Tayson. They are officially playing together. They want to compete together if they keep performing well. They came 4th in the first duo Cash Cup they've played together, so they're off to a very good start. As far as some of the other duos, we had Mustache and Malibuka play together again, obviously returning to the legendary duo. They came 2nd in their first Cash Cup together, but again, we don't know whether it's official, whether Malibuka and Thomas HD are splitting. Obviously, Mustache and Tayson have, so we don't know whether Malibuka and Mustache will be an official duo. Thomas ended up going and playing with Tripern. We also had Hedra playing with Hydro, who came in 1st on 373 points, and then Wox and Hellfire playing together in 3rd on 343. So again, it's hard to figure out which one of these duos are official, which are just playing for fun. Now, obviously, the big ones on NA is, did Cooper and Mero actually split up? They have not played any tournaments together since winning Copenhagen, and no, I have it on strict authority. They still plan to compete together. If it is duos, they're just playing with other duos for a little bit of fun. We had Mero playing with Kanata for the content. We had Cooper playing with Muzz. All of them are streaming the tournament and is having some fun and enjoying it. They still plan to stay together. I mean, I made a bait tweet talking about how Peterbot and Mero are playing together. I wanted to kind of stir up some conversation around potentially Mero dropping Cooper after Copenhagen, because during the stream that day, Cooper was actually saying he thinks Mero might drop him. And honestly, it's happened before. We've had huge teams win major events and drop their duo or their teammates. I mean, we had Aqua dropping Nyrox literally the day of winning World Cup. Before the players even got home from the event, Aqua had dropped Nyrox to secure Stompy for Trio FNCS, which they went on to win. So it might be crazy when you see these massive duos or teams splitting after winning huge events, but you have to assume they know what's going on. But it looks like we are going to keep Cooper Mero together. Apparently, along the same line, Clicks and Whale are staying together from what I've heard. Not really sure if that's going to last. We'll have to see. They obviously underperformed at Copenhagen, not making the finals. We did have Bucky and Okus confirmed splitting after all the drama that went down. Okus did want to find another duo. We have Bucky now playing with Cam. They did pretty well their first tournament together. They came 12th, but they realistically did it with one single game and 11 elim first. They were kind of trolling. They were just enjoying themselves making content. I wouldn't look too much into it. Some of the new duos, the not real duos, did insanely well. Aviv and Chubbs getting first on 424 points, beating out Ritual and Sphinx in second on 410. Both their performances are insane, but I think both of these aren't real duos. A lot of them did very well at Copenhagen with their respective duos. I don't think they plan on splitting up. They're just having fun. We have Trashy and Pump reforming, one of the best duos of this chapter that split for, in my opinion, seemingly unknown reasons. I think Trashy just said he didn't want to play with a controller player for surge issues, but Trashy and Pump back looking good. Muzz and Cooper again, the fun duo, and Kanata Mero finishing right on top of each other on the leaderboard. So both proving no matter who they play with, they can still dominate, whether it's real or whether it's for fun.